So something that a lot of people don't do is they don't open the club face and then grip the club. They grip the club and then open the club face. So the difference with that is, especially when you have a very strong grip, that's really going to affect the way that the ball comes out and the use of the bounce. So make sure that you open the club face before gripping your club. And I have a strong grip, so sometimes you would see me do that outside of the bunker, so that obviously because you can't ground your club in the bunker. And I think a lot of people, if they grip it and then open the club face, they almost feel like they're going to shank it. So when you do it outside, you're able to get a better grip before you go into the bunker, and then you feel more confident. And obviously when you're more confident, you can hit better shots. So the other thing is you not only want to put your weight forward and your ball position forward, but you also want to maintain that throughout the swing. So you don't want to be doing like any weight shift in the bunker, because you want to keep your weight as stable as possible. So your weight not only is towards the front of your stance, but it's towards the front of your stance throughout the entire bunker shot. Also, don't forget, unless it's a really hard pan bunker, you do want to open the club face up, and you can open it probably a lot more than you think you can. So don't be afraid to try that out sometimes. Just open the club face like really maximum when you get the chance and just hit it. I know sometimes it feels like you're gonna hit a shank, but you're really not. So okay, so one more thing regarding bunkers, which I forgot about the other day, is you want to almost feel like you're squatting and have like a very low club angle. I'll show you guys what that means. I don't really know the technical terms of it. I'm not a very technical person, so this is really like what I think about in terms of what makes sense to me. But anyway, when you have a lower one, you're able to use more of the bounce and have that softer bunker shot. So I'll show you what I mean. But also with relation to this, you shouldn't be afraid to take a longer backswing. I feel like a lot of people take a really short backswing and then try to hit down on it, which is just going to make your ball get stuck in the bank. So take a longer backswing, squat, and hit more floppy, soft bunker shots like this. So the next focus is putting, and I think putting is one of the most difficult things to teach in terms of what is right and wrong, because I really don't think there is a right and wrong. I do believe there are some fundamentals that need to be followed, you know, the simple ones such as like keeping your eye line at a good, you know, either over the ball or slightly behind the ball. But other than that, I feel like with the grip, with stuff like that, there's so much that you can personalize with putting, so there's really no right or wrong, which I think is kind of fun, because with other things such as like technical stuff for chipping, putting, chipping bunker shots, and even the swing in general, there are certain things that, you know, if you do something wrong, like for instance, if your club face is too shut, you would really have to maneuver your swing just to be able to hit it straight. Whereas with putting, the only thing that matters is right when you impact the ball. And even then, if you're somebody that like cuts every putt, if you're consistently cutting it and you're hitting it at the heel of the face or the toe of the putter or whatever, if you're consistently doing that, I believe that you can still get around putting well with, you know, whatever kind of stroke you have. So I think that's quite interesting with putting, because the swing is so much longer with a full swing than with a putting stroke, right? With a putting stroke, you can really get away with having a weird putting stroke or a weird grip or a weird stance. Whereas with the full swing, I think your setup is so important, and it's so important to have a good setup that's gonna lead to a good swing. And I don't know, so for me, I'm just gonna show you guys a drill that I love doing and I think that everybody should do, and maybe just talk a little bit about fundamentals, but not really, because as I said, putting is so personalized. So if you have a weird stance, you have a weird grip, just go with it. The most important thing is having a consistent, repeatable putting stroke that you know you're going to be able to do over and over again. And to be honest, most of that relies on practice. So, well, just like every other part of golf, there's no denying that you need to practice. So yeah, so let's talk about putting. So this is legit DIY. It's just 2 knitting needles, and I tied a string around it. This is it's kind of like a really thin rope, so it's not really a string, but you can literally do it yourself. So inexpensive. So another drill you could do is, this would basically be the size of your putter, and that would be the size of a golf ball. And this is the drill. Just use tees. Guys are confused about what using your shoulder means, this is a good feel exercise that you can do. So no wrist. No. Alright, so the last one and the most highly requested one is about my chipping, and I feel like I should maybe get my coach to do a really extensive, more in-depth explanation of my technique, because it kind of did originate from him. But I thought I'd just show you guys a little bit of what I feel and what I do to achieve the chipping technique that I use. So the main thing is I basically use one concept for my entire chipping, but I adapt it by changing the club face angles, the ball position, and things like that. So I can hit my 58, basically I can hit a flop, and I can also hit a low runner just based on the club face angles and stuff like that. And obviously that's going to take practice, but I'll just talk a little bit about my concept in general. Essentially what I do is more weight forward, depending on the club face, whatever I want to do with it. No, almost feeling like using my core / my shoulders to turn. So I'm not doing this, or like, it's very no wrist basically. And the reason why I started using this chipping style is, first of all, I find that it's a lot more predictable. Like, there's not so much variables. Like I said, like, golf is always just removing the variables as much as you can. And when you have so much wrist play in work, I feel like just a little bit off and you're just gonna, it's so easy to duff it or top it. So taking the wrist out of play and just basically playing with the weight in my feet and the club head, that really helps me increase consistency, and I know what the ball's going to do when I put the ball a certain place. And of course, as I said, that's going to take practice, but I find that if you have too many techniques, you're going to have to practice a lot more than you just have one technique and just practicing different club ball positions and stuff like that.